keepeth covenants and mercies for them that love him and observe his commandments. And then to his son, right, who we call Yahushai, who is our king, our exalted prince, our savior, our master teacher, high priest, whom the Father used to reconcile us back to himself. So we thank God for his son, right? And then everybody that's with us, elders, mothers, brothers, sisters, children, those that's watching online. As the scripture says, all the partakers of the heavenly calling, we thank God for each and every one of you. And then to those that have not been awakened to the truth, we ask the Most High bestow a blessing upon them. And the blessing is, that He grants them mercy like He has granted to us, that they can be able to wake up to the truth and serve the Most High God like He was intended to be served. Right. So that is our prayer. All right. We're going to go to our chapter for this evening. All right. And that's going to be in Leviticus chapter 14. Okay. Leviticus chapter 14. Before we go there, matter of fact, can we I know we did it last night, but that scripture, I'm gonna get that passage where Christ, not last night, last week, where Christ told the leper to go to the priest. I'm gonna find that scripture again. If anybody remember where it's at, that would be great too, right?
Matthew 8, 1 through 4.
Matthew 8, okay. All praise that saves us time.
And Luke 5, 12 through 14.
Trying to think which one. Let me look at the match real quick. All right, so before we do that, while we're looking at that, let me go do the review. Okay, so last week we did Leviticus 12 and 13. All right. Background. So when we looked at Leviticus 12, it was a short chapter, right? It's talking about the purification when a woman has a child and tells you if you have a man child, what you should do, and if you have a female child, what you should do, and the sacrifice stuff you have to bring. Leviticus 13 was dealing with we was getting into talking about leprosy. All right, we were dealing with leprosy. So when we're looking at the leprosy, it talks about, when is it clean and when is it unclean. So just because somebody has leprosy, you have to see, well, not us, the priest will go in and basically look at it and see whether it's a clean leprosy, whether it's an unclean leprosy. If it's an unclean leprosy, you're not going to be able to, of course, go to the temple and things of that nature. If it's a clean leprosy, you were still able to do things. All right. So it was very detailed in chapter 13 about how it looks, what they're looking for, and how to deem it unclean and clean. Also, some of the sacrifices had to deal. I think we got to sacrifice as well. I know this chapter will be dealing with it, but it was just dealing with that the whole chapter, right? Got leprosy here. If it's in the clothes, you might have to wash your clothes. This, and that. All right. So now that will lead us to the chapter we at now, which is still going to be dealing with leprosy. Okay. And let me see. Brother Kai said Matthew chapter 8. So let me see. Yep. Okay. We'll do that one. That was fine. All right. So let's read the first two and then we'll go into that. All right. So this is Leviticus 14. All right. Leviticus chapter 14. And let's go into that. That 1 and 2.
And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, This shall be the law of the leper in the day of his cleansing. He shall be brought unto the priest.
So once again, beloved, law of leprosy. All right. So what you have to do according to leprosy, and this says in the day of his cleansing. All right, in the day of his cleansing. All right. So you have to bring them who? To the priest. All right. Can't bring them to the friend. Can't bring them here. You have to bring them to the priest. That is the law of cleansing. Okay? So this is why priests are very important, beloved. Okay? You dealing with these times and, talk about the split in Israel, right? Remember, some tribes went over here, some tribes went over there, right? Where Levi fell at was very important because what? They were directly there in our laws, not connected with it. They were in the laws. You had certain laws had to be only fulfilled through them. Okay. So once again, they had to be brought into the priests. Okay. Let's read 3 and 4. Let's read 3 and 4.
And the priest shall go forth out of the camp, and the priest shall look, and behold, if the plague of leprosy be healed in the leper. Then shall the priest command to take for him that is to be cleansed 2 birds alive and clean, and cedar wood, and scarlet, and hyssop.
Once again, going into the details of it. All right. Priest shall go forth out the camp. Priest shall look, behold, plague of leprosy be healed in the leopard. All right. So once again, we already talked about last week what they had to look for. All right. If they were unclean, sometimes they say, okay, you got to wait another 7 days to see if it cleared up. They have to co-sign, they have to write off if it's a clean leprosy. So this is dealing with the cleansing aspect. All right. So behold, the plague of the leprosy be healed in the leper. All right. Verse 4. Then shall the priest command to take him to what? To him that is to be cleansed 2 birds alive and clean and cedar wood and scarlet and hyssop. Why this is very important, beloved? Because you can be cleansed from the leprosy, but still be unclean to a certain extent. What do you have to do to fully be cleansed, beloved? You had to go through this. All right. So what I'm saying, you can be healed from the leprosy. However, according to the law, you have to go through this when you get healed from the leprosy. All right. So now you got to go to the priest. All right. And the priest shall command him to take what? That is cleansed 2 birds alive, clean, right? So he's telling them what the person got to have. All right. What they're going to be having. Let's read 5 and 6, then we'll go to Christ, where he's at.
And the priest shall command that one of the birds be killed in an earthen vessel over running water. As for the living bird, he shall take it, and the cedar wood, and the scarlet, and the hyssop, and shall dip them and the living bird in blood of the bird that was killed over the running water.
So you see, it's some blood. You know, these sacrifices, there's a lot of blood happening, right? So he cleansed the 2 birds alive, clean. Like I said, it's kind of straightforward. All right, so they killed it in an earthen vessel over the running water. Yeah, we'll keep it like that. All right, let's go to, and if you got something, please bring it out, beloved. Please bring it out. Please bring it out. Like I said, I don't really have precepts. I just want to make sure we get this one. So this is Matthew chapter 8. All right, Matthew chapter 8. And we're going to start at verse 1. Matthew chapter 8 and verse 1.
When he was come down from the mountain, great multitudes followed him. And behold, there came a leper and worshipped him, saying, Lord, if thou wilt, thou canst make me clean.
You keep going.
And Yahushua put forth his hand and touched him, saying, I will, be thou clean. And immediately his leprosy was cleansed.
That's the point I want to get to. All right. So everybody know Christ can go. He's healing stuff, right? So this was specific to leprosy. I want to get to this because this is what we're dealing with today. All right. So he said, I will, be thou clean. And immediately his leprosy was cleansed. All right. What a lot of us that were ignorant of the law would do is say, okay, we cleanse, let's go back to our normal thing. We go back, sacrifice, all that stuff, we're good, right? If you don't know, when I'm saying ignorant, as in we don't know, right? If you don't know, you would think that's good. He's clean from his leprosy, right? The whole thing is about when you're unclean, right? So when you're clean, you're good. But look what Christ's saying. Let's see if he's against the law or if he was staying within the law, right? Let's read that verse 4.
And Yahushua saith unto him, See thou tell no man, but go thy way, shew thyself to the priest, and offer the gift that Moses commanded for a testimony unto them.
Go show yourself to your family, to your friend,
to the priest,
right? To your wife,
to the priest.
all right? He told him, go to the priest. Why is Christ telling him to go to the priest?
Mm-hmm. Just read it.
There, it said the person's healed, right? Didn't it say that in verse 3? God, I
Mm-hmm.
will be clean. And immediately his leprosy was cleansed.
Mm-hmm.
Why is Christ breaking to the priest? The priest didn't do nothing. They got nothing to do with the situation. They got everything to do with the situation.
They do.
Because what? He's dealing with the law. And he
Mm-hmm.
knows the law. And he's saying, I'm gonna teach you how to go against the law. He said go
Mm-hmm.
right. So even though he gets on them, he's still what? Staying within the scriptures. Show thyself to the priest and offer the gift that Moses commanded him. He ain't say give me nothing. No, what the law tell you is what you gotta do. Go to them. This be a testimony unto them. Now, okay, so we're looking at that and understanding it. Now we can understand why Christ is saying that. All right. The beauty about the scriptures is getting some understanding of why. Okay. Because you look at it, you be like, well, should he get the reward? He cleaned the person, right? He healed the person. Should he get the reward? No. Okay. It was going back to what? Nope. So this is what my father commanded you to do with this happening. Just because I'm on the scene, don't uproot what the law that my father have in place. All right. I'm not here to violate per se that. Okay. So he was going teach him, nope, go there. And this works out good later on because they're always saying, oh, he was trying to break the law and doing all this stuff. Right here is let us know. No, he was honoring. He was observing the law of Moses that they were saying he was just destroying. Okay. So now let's go back to Leviticus 14, right? This shall be the law of the leper in the day of his cleansing. All right.
Mm-hmm.
He shall be brought unto the priest. What did Christ say? Go to the priest. And the priest shall go forth out of the camp, and the priest shall look, and behold, if the plague of leprosy be healed in the leper, then shall the priest command to take for him that is to be cleansed. So the priest has to bring these things for the cleansing aspect of it, the cleansing ritual of it. Okay? So it's not just being healed from something, there's also this aspect you have to do. If you don't do this aspect, right, you are still in some fault because the law tells you what you must do. And this is where people understand now that try to hold some of these things, right? This is Brother Michael, where he's at his knowledge at. Like I said, if it changes, it changes. But sometimes teachers want to hold a certain aspect of some of these laws, right? Oh, you're clean according to the law. But then they don't want to observe the law on the back end of it, right? Where how you get cleansed. Right? Because some of it ain't just, oh, you got clean from that, you're good. No, somebody's had a process of how you get cleaned. Okay? According to law. So when you see with this, yeah, you can be clean from leper, but you still have to go through this aspect. Okay? All right. Where we at, Brother Kai? You read 6. Was that 5 and 6 you last thing you read or 5?
Yeah. I think I read 5.
All right. All right, let's keep reading. Love it. So let's just get into details of what they gotta do. So ain't really too much precept that I'm gonna do.
As for the living bird, he shall take it, and the cedar wood, and the scarlet, and the hyssop, and shall dip them and the living bird in the blood of the bird that was killed over the running water. And he shall sprinkle upon him that is to be cleansed from the leprosy 7 times, and shall pronounce him clean, and shall let the living bird loose into the open field.
If anybody got anything, y'all can bring it out, but too much. All right. One thing we want to look at, I do want us to look at is the what? Verse 7, he shall sprinkle upon him that is to be clean from the leprosy. How many times? 7. Right.
7.
Once again, one of God's numbers, right? I told you always look for patterns and stuff like that. So she does 7 times popping up again. And shall pronounce him clean. So once again, they have to sign off about if the leprosy is clean. It's not you self-diagnosing yourself. They had this duty according to the law that they had to go and pronounce it clean. So after they sprinkle upon him, cleanse from the leprosy 7 times, and shall pronounce him clean, and what? And shall let the living bird loose into the open field. All right, so that's the other part of it. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Verse 9. But it shall be on the seventh day that he shall shave all his hair off his head, and his beard and his eyebrows, even all his hair he shall shave off, and he shall wash his clothes. Also he shall wash his flesh in water, and he shall be clean. And on the eighth day he shall take 2 he lambs without blemish, and 1 ill lamb of the first year without blemish, and 3/10 deals of fine flour for a meat offering mingled with oil, and 1 log of oil.
You read 8, correct? Did you read 8? You started with the shit.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So cleanse the clothes, right? We see that already.
Hold on, I didn't read. I don't think I read that. I don't think I read that.
I remember the hair. I'm sorry, I had my head down reading through.
Let me read
All
it
right,
again.
read 8 for us then.
Okay, come on. And he that is to be cleansed shall wash his clothes, and shave off all his hair, and wash himself in water, that he may be clean. And after that he shall come into the camp, and shall tarry abroad out of his tent 7 days.
Right. So clean, wash your clothes, all right? And now you see the other stuff. Shave the hair, right? Wash himself in the water, and maybe clean. And some things you do, I didn't realize like your hair actually holds like, I won't say hold the story, but it has certain stuff that can be in the hair, right? So matter of fact, who was this? Is it I don't know if it's Britney Spears. It was one of them that with the drugs. I think they said they shave their head off so they can actually get to see what you're doing through your hair, right? So once again, Most High is doing it for a reason. All right, so taking the hair off, wash yourself, all right, wash your clothes, right? You're gonna go through the whole cleansing, and then what? After he shall come into the camp and shall tarry abroad out of his tent 7 days. All right, so he still had to be out of the tent. And how long? We see that number again, 7 days. And we see a lot of times that 7 days is dealing almost with like a completion, right? We see 7 days, we know in the beginning, right? Seventh day kind of completed the week, and then you'll see that 7, and it looks like it's kind of one of the completion numbers. All right. So yeah, go there. All right. But it shall be on the 7th day that he shall shave off his hair, right? The beard, the eyebrow. So this person's going to be looking, I want to say a little funny, but they ain't going to have nothing, right? Definitely if you compare to seeing them before. All right. But once again, this is part of the ritual when it comes to being clean. All right. Verse 10, and on the 8th day, he shall take 2 lambs without blemish. So if you remember the feast that we did, right? It was 7 days, and it talks about that 8th day, that great day, Feast Tabernacle. And we see that what? We see that 8th day even here. Okay. You know something else? Once again, Most High still have little patterns. On the 8th day, he shall take 2 he lambs without blemish, and 1 ewe lamb for the first year without blemish, and 3/10 dill fine flour for a meat offering made with oil, and 1 log of oil. All right. So now it's about to offer something. All right. So what I'm getting from this, I'm saying so far, I'm trying to read it ignorantly, right? It seems like he's cleaning them, and then that 8th day, it's almost like starting afresh or starting anew. Okay. Like that 8th day. Now you see the difference of the offering. The first one was dealing with that bird and everything, to do this, break it. Now I'm pronouncing you clean. Now you got to do this, thing for 7 days, and now this 8th day, now you're offering up. You're dealing with the ewe lambs, you offering up the sacrifice, so you're clean to do it. Okay. So just little things, little details, beloved. Okay. Anybody got anything before we move on? All right, let's keep going. Verse 11.
And the priest that maketh him clean shall present the man that is to be made clean, and those things before Yahweh at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And the priest shall take 1 he lamb, and offer him for a trespass offering, and a log of oil, and wave them for a wave offering before Yahweh.
Give me another one.
He shall slay the lamb in the place where he shall kill the sin offering and the burnt offering in the holy place. Whereas the sin offering is the priest, so is the trespass offering, it is most holy.
So now he's doing the sacrifices where? Where are they doing the stuff at now? right? Now they're at the tabernacle of the congregation, all right? Prior to, can't go there, all right? But now clean, went through the whole ritual and cycle, and now he can, they can do the offering like they would do before, all right? So this is where I say once again, just because it says somebody's unclean, don't mean they're in sin. They're just unclean to do certain things. All right. However, right now, when you're unclean and you go and do something, one of these things out of order, now you're in violation of the law, right? So Christ knew that when he cleansed the man, right? If he cleansed the man and where he cleansed them and then go, if he didn't say go yourself to the priest, like, I cleansed them and say, oh, go ahead, you go back and, go with your family and all that stuff, and you're good, right? That wouldn't be according to the law, right? Because there's a cleansing ritual as well. There's an identification of the leprosy and then a way where it get cleansed and a process you have to do when you get cleansed. So since he was cleansed, right, Christ knew the law of leprosy. All right, the law of the leper in the day of his cleansing, where he should be brought to the priest. So this is staying all in line. Okay. All right. All right. We keep going.
Verse 14.
Yeah. You watching the chat? I'm sorry. This
Yeah,
is like a little different. So I'm just make sure.
yeah, ain't nothing in it.
Okay.
And the priest shall take some of the blood of the trespass offering, and the priest shall put it upon the tip of the right ear of him that is to be cleansed, and upon the thumb of his right hand, and upon the great toe of his right foot. And the priest shall take some of the log of oil and pour it into the palm of his own left hand. And the priest shall dip his right finger in the oil that is in his left hand, and shall sprinkle of the oil with his finger 7 times before Yahweh.
All right. Let's walk it down. So priest just take some of the blood of the trespass offering. All right, that the offering had to be what? The blood of whatever that animal was that's killed for it. All right, that's where the blood come from. The priest will put it on the tip of the right ear of him that is to be cleansed. All right. So the person that's going to be cleansed, they're going to put it on the right ear, the right thumb, right? Um, and the great toe of his right foot. So big toe, as we will probably call it. Okay. So that's where the blood is going. And this is what? To cleanse that individual that was unclean from the leprosy. All right. Now it's good to notice because y'all might have remembered this in the feast when we do atonement, right? I don't know if I went to this part this year, but it talks about even the priest, they're going to put some on the right blood on the right ear, the right thumb, and the right toe. So you see they're even doing this what? For this cleansing aspect. All right. So even them are going through the same thing, and now we can see what is that, some of the symbolism of that. All right, it's a cleansing thing. All right. Anybody else had anything they seen that they wanted to acknowledge? Oh, we read something about 7 times they sprinkle in it, right? Where was that? 16. And the priest shall dip his right finger in the oil, all right, that is in his left hand. So he's really giving an illustration, right? So he pour the oil in his left hand, take the right hand, all right, dip his finger in it, and so sprinkle the oil with his finger 7 times before Yahweh, all right? Once again, we see that number 7 show up. Okay. I remember my grandpa when he used to people come up for prayer. I remember he used to sprinkle it. I don't know if I'm guessing he probably got it from here. At least maybe the 7 times why he do it. I don't know if his what his understanding was exactly of why he did or why he felt the spirit, direct him that way. But I remember he used to sprinkle it. But we see, I realized that the priest used to do that. Okay. So they're sprinkle it 7 times before Yahweh. And once again, this stuff is to show us, right? It's showing us certain things. All right. Even with the cleansing, the Most High God had to be in it. All right. And the priests, when they're doing these things, they have to be acknowledging the Most High God. Right. So I know it can be like, oh, why is the point of this? Why you have to be this? Why is it so particular? Why I got to be 7? All these things is teaching us something, teaching us greater values. Okay. All right. Let's keep going, bro. Let's keep going.
And of the rest of the oil that is in his hand shall the priest put upon the tip of his right ear of him that is to be cleansed, and upon the thumb of his right hand, and upon the great toe of his right foot, upon the blood of the trespass offering. And the remnant of the oil that is in the priest's hand, he shall pour upon the head of him that is to be cleansed. And the priest shall make an atonement for him before Yahweh. And the priest shall offer the sin offering and make an atonement for him that is to be cleansed from his uncleanness. And afterward he shall kill the burnt offering, and the priest shall offer the burnt offering and the meat offering upon the altar. And the priest shall make an atonement for him, and he shall be clean.
Again, straightforward, some of the details of it, beloved. And now this is dealing with the oil, right? The oil that's left in his left hand. He's saying you pour that all on him, all right? And what, for me, what that kind of symbolizes, we dealing with Most Highness things like it ain't he's very particular, like the waste and all those kind of things. So that oil there, and that's still, you're doing it for this cleansing aspect, probably showing it, this all, almost like drinking all of it, right? Using that aspect of it. Okay, this kind of brings flashbacks. I used to. Oh man, I'm gonna go into that. But yes, you'll see a lot of things when people anointing. You see a lot of people do different aspects of it. Okay, and let's see. Yeah. So we see the same thing, the same wording, atonement, right? We've seen it a million times, definitely through this book. Okay, that's to atone for things. To make right, right? It's almost like that reconciliation aspect, and that's what a lot of these laws with sacrifice and stuff we're doing, cleansing laws, kind of reconciliate, right? Verse 20 kind of alludes, and the priest shall make an atonement for him, and he shall be clean. But who has to make the atonement? The priest. Okay. Yes, God does it ultimately, but he's using the priest to make the atonement, meaning you don't go and say, well, I'm just going to be clean because I'm living righteous. No, he had an order and a structure. The priest's job was for this reason. Okay. So even nowadays, beloved, the Most High put on his teachers and priests and his ministers, even certain authorities and powers to do certain things. Okay. So when you're getting to it, even when you're dealing with the healing, like some people caught up on the healing aspect, but remember what Christ was talking about, they was questioning about what this guy doing. You think he can forgive sin? Only God can do that, And he's saying, like, what's harder, right? The miracle or to say, your sin's forgiven. Okay. But when you understand some of it, that's part of basically, if you can understand it, your sin being forgiven and atoning for it. All right. Making new. This is what, a lot of miracles even were doing. Okay. So when you're looking at some of these things, you can make some of these correlations between the two. Some of these things are showing spiritual matters. Some people don't pick it up all the time, but a lot of these things is very spiritual. Okay. And the Most High is even showing us how we combat it if you really dive it into this law. Okay. Of course, we're not doing the animal aspect of it. All right. But there's certain things you can still look at. There's certain things he's still using the priest to take certain burdens off of you. Right? Through, of course, through the power of Christ. But they're Christ ministers, right? We're supposed to be Christ ministers. All right. He equipped us with certain authority, certain things that we'll be able to do certain things. Right. So yes, prayer can still work. Somebody's battling something, even sometimes battling the spirit. Going to a man of God having prayer, that still holds power and hold weight. Okay. All right, Brother Kai. Where are we at? 20, is that 20? I always mix it up, so
Nah.
don't pay me no mind.
And if he be poor and cannot get so much, then he shall take one lamb for a trespass offering to be waived, to make an atonement for him, and 1/10 deal of fine flour mingled with oil for a meat offering, and a log of oil, and 2 turtle doves, and 2 young pigeons, such as he is able to get, and the one shall be a sin offering, and the other a burnt offering.
All right. So looking there, once again, we see this once again. If they couldn't afford it, the Most High had I won't say a payment plan. He has a a plan to, go to where you're at. All right. Because the point of it isn't to make broke people broke. Oh, you can't afford it? You better figure out a way to get it. Right. 'Cause what would that lead to? I feel damn, I can't afford it. I need to get this cleared up. I'm probably gonna do something, wicked to do it. People might think like, so you might think I have to go through some means because I got to get this land. I got to clear it up. So what do you think people will do, right? But the Most High is also showing that it ain't about that, right? That don't make it clean. Okay. All right. I think that's pretty much it on that verse.
Verse 23.
Yeah, let's keep going.
And he shall bring them on the 8th day for his cleansing unto the priest, unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation before Yahweh. And the priest shall take the lamb of the trespass offering and the log of oil, and the priest shall wave them for a wave offering before Yahweh. And he shall kill the lamb of the trespass offering, and the priest shall take some of the blood of the trespass offering, and put it upon the tip of the right ear of him that is to be cleansed, and upon the thumb of his right hand, and upon the great toe of his right foot. And the priest shall pour of the oil into the palm of his own left hand.
All right, we kind of talked about that. Once again, that 8th day showing up again. You're doing an 8th day of his cleansing. All right, so this is the 8th day ritual. And yeah, we kind of just read that. So anybody got anything, you can bring it out. If not, we're going to keep reading.
Verse 27. And the priest shall sprinkle with his right finger some of the oil that is in his left hand 7 times before Yahweh. And the priest shall put of the oil that is in his hand upon the tip of the right ear of him that is to be cleansed, and upon the thumb of his right hand, and upon the great toe of his right foot, upon the place of the blood of the trespass offering. And the rest of the oil that is in the priest's hand, he shall put upon the head of him that is to be cleansed, to make an atonement for him before Yahweh.
Anybody got anything for those verses? All right. What verse we at now?
Verse 32.
No.
This is the law of him and whom is the plague of leprosy, whose hand
I'm
is
sorry,
not able.
real quick. I apologize. I apologize. So,
Good.
and that 31, right? This line, I like this line. And the priest shall make an atonement for him that is to be cleansed before Yahweh. So this is where when you say like, oh, they came before the Lord, it's not always like, oh, people think, oh, it came before the Lord, they gotta go. Lord's up in heaven, you gotta go up there. No, when you understand the scriptures before Yahweh, it can be dealing with what? Where are they at when they're doing this? I'm talking about now they're dealing with the cleansing aspect of the 8th day. Where are they doing this at, beloved? Anybody can answer this part. Let's go on up. Let's go on up. Let's see. All right. Read that verse 23 for us, Brother Kai.
And he shall bring them on the 8th day for his cleansing unto the priest, unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation before Yahweh.
So what is that? The 8th day, cleansing of the priest, the door of the tabernacle, the congregation. Where is this at? Before Yahweh. So where's he talking about you going before him? You have to be at the what? Tabernacle congregation. That will count as you being before Yahweh. All right. So this is how you're presenting yourself before him. Okay. When you go to the door of the tabernacle. So this is why you wouldn't be showing up there unclean. All right. Because you're going before Yahweh. You need to be clean. So this is why when certain things are unclean, they say, no, don't come here, right? You go get that situation, get clean, then you come up here and offer it. Because when you come to him, you don't need to be dirty. You need to be clean. All right. So that's all it's saying, beloved. All right. So making atonement before him, before the Lord. All right. It's just dealing with where they at. All right. So remember, they go in there, you're doing the sin offerings and all that stuff. Remember, it says go to that place, tabernacle. That's where we're doing all of those offerings. Okay. All right. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Verse 31. Even such as he is able to get, the one for a sin offering and the other for a burnt offering, with the meat offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for him that is to be cleansed before Yahweh. This is the law of him in whom is the plague of leprosy, whose hand is not able to get that which pertaineth to his cleansing. And Yahweh spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, when ye be come into the land of Canaan, which I give to you for a possession, and I put the plague of leprosy in a house of the land of your possession, and he that owneth the house shall come and tell the priest, saying, it seemeth to me there is, as it were, a plague in the house. Then the priest shall command that they empty the house before the priest go into to see the plague, that all that is in the house be made unclean, be made not unclean. And afterward, the priest shall go in to see the house.
All right. Anybody got anything for what we just read? Go ahead, brother Guy.
Verse 34, it stuck out to me when it says, when you come into the land of Canaan, which I give to you for a possession, and I put the plague of leprosy in the house of the land of your possession. So it seemed like the Most High, is putting that plague in that house. And it's almost like he's doing it to see if they will obey, his commandments. Because leprosy is not always a bad thing, but, he could be doing it at times to test them, to see whether they going, go and do as he instructed them to do.
Yeah, some people get caught up with who said that? Who said that? But it's like God's gonna be one that fix it. Some things, yes, the Most High did suffer certain things that happen. You can investigate that part, who's sinning and why, whatever. But the healing and the cleaning and the sanctification come from him as well. So definitely focus on that part. But yes, right. And once again, they're doing this and they're not what? In the land. All right. Because some people say, oh, all this stuff is just if you're in the land. Beloved, I hope we don't think that the Most High only want us living righteous when we're in the land of Canaan.
Right.
Right. You can be wicked outside the land, and the laws was just pertaining to that land. You'll hear people some of these pastors get so desperate with some of their arguments. Right. I ain't doing these because they in the land and all that stuff. That stuff was dealing with the land. Okay, he said don't have idolatries when you go in the land of Canaan. Does that mean now you're outside and you can deal with idolatries? But this is some of the foolish thinking because we don't want to do what thus saith the Lord. All right. So, beloved, yes, a lot of these things is predicated. He's telling you, yes, when you get to the land, because what's the thing, beloved? They're going to the land. So he's saying when you get in there, don't you be doing like this because I want you to go there and do what's right. If you've been at the Wednesday night classes, we actually ran across a scripture that's saying what? They were doing wicked in that land. That's why the Most High rooted them out. Okay? Why root one out just for another problem to go in there, right? So he desired that land to be righteousness and holiness to be dwelling there. Okay. So he's giving them the tools that when they get into the land, right, they'll be living righteously and holy. Okay. That was the plan. Did it go that way exactly? No. Okay. All right. Brother Kai, good point. Thank you for bringing that out too.
Praise.
I don't think we got anything else in the chat or anything. So, all right, I think we're good to go. Good to go.
Verse 37. And he shall look on the plague, and behold, if the plague be in the walls of the house with hollow streaks, greenish or reddish, which in sight are lower than the wall, then the priest shall go out of the house to the door of the house, and shut up the house 7 days. And the priest shall come again the 7th day, and shall look, and behold, if the plague be spread in the walls of the house, then the priest shall command that they take away the stones in which the plague is, and they shall cast them in an unclean place without the city.
Keep going.
Come. And he shall cause the house to be scraped within round about, and they shall pour out the dust that they scrape off without the city into an unclean place.
So once again, beloved, this is I'm curious how this looks exactly. I'm a visual person, but they're going very detailed, right? This thing is saying it's in the house. They grab and stole everything off the house. Um, but like I said, when you got a plague hitting you and all that stuff, you gotta be thorough. All right, beloved. Definitely with certain sicknesses and uncleanness, you gotta be thorough because what? That thing can spread and it can touch a lot of people. So you want to be thorough. Definitely don't want to just make it a light thing for people to, oh, you're good, come right back in. You don't want that to be a light thing, all right? Because you are putting everyone at risk. Okay. So I know it's very detailed going through all this stuff, but it was very important. All right. Because if you didn't you left one thing out, that plague will still, be around. Okay. All right. Anybody got anything? Not, we're gonna keep it going. If not, all right. Let's keep going.
I bet I lost my place.
Um, that was 30. Oh, now I'm getting mixed up with the walls. Cast them clean. Let's see. Did you jump? Is that 40 or did I?
I think 42. I think I'm at 42.
Oh, all right. Yeah, it's fine. Just read 42.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's all
42.
the same
Yeah.
thing.
All praises to the Most High. Okay.
Mhm.
And they shall take other stones and put them in the place of those stones. And he shall take other mortar and shall plaster the house. And if the plague come again and break out in the house, after that he have taken away the stones, and after he have scraped the house, and after it is plastered, then the priest shall come and look, and behold, if the plague be spread in the house, it is a fretting leprosy in the house. It is unclean.
Keep going. Read this next one.
And he shall break down the house, the stones of it, and the timber thereof, and all the mortar of the house, and he shall carry them forth out of the city into an unclean place.
Go and destroy your crib, beloved. No matter what you think, yeah, we got this whole thing got to go. You might have made that last mortgage payment. Yeah, I gotta go.
Gotta go.
Got to take it out of here. All right. So you and once again, these are certain function of the priest. A lot of us don't realize that. People think, oh, the priest just go over there killing animals. Yes, that is a major function that they do. But they also, during their doctors, right? They over here inspecting stuff, inspecting houses, right? These are all things. So you see why there had to be plenty of priests, right? Different functions. It's a lot. All right. So this is why they couldn't have, they talk about the job. This was their job because you see had to do a lot of stuff. You can't be, stuck at work. You gotta do this inspection over here, look and make sure this person, and this is just leprosy, right? So it's a lot of details, and they have to be learned. All right, you have to know what to do in certain situations, right? Because if you miss a step or miss one of these things, you could be bringing somebody that leprosy and get everybody messed up. All right, so it's very, very, very important, beloved. Okay, I know it's kind of like, oh my gosh, you do all these details, but just to know it, beloved. You might never read it again. At least you knocked it out. Okay, let's keep going, brother Kai. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to point out, man, all the work these priests was doing, they deserved every bit of that 10% it ain't like the preachers today, you know what I mean, living in lap of luxury and not doing the work. These dudes had to do a lot of work, man. They earned every bit of that.
Mhm.
I just wanted to add that on, beloved.
That's true. And they have to be around it. They like, you know what I mean? They have to see if some of this leprosy is clean or unclean. So they're going there. A lot of times, people wasn't cleaning leprosy, they still have to go around, right? They have to investigate this stuff. So everybody didn't want to hop and do that part, right? You might not mind doing the sacrifice and eating some food, but some people didn't desire this. All right, take this risk. All right, let's keep going, though, brother.
Uh, verse 46. Yeah, I'll be 46. Moreover, he that goeth into the house all the while that it is shut up shall be unclean until the even.
Mhm.
And he that lieth in the house shall wash his clothes. And he that eateth in the house shall wash his clothes.
So once again, you'll see this for other ones that's unclean as well. And we read forward. All right, so they'll wash themselves. All right, no, I'm sorry with this one. He goes to the house all the while that is shut up shall be unclean until the even. So some things will be unclean, you just unclean until you come back and see somebody, see the priest or whatever. And some things just to that time period. You'll see certain things where it's just even compared to 7 days, whatever. So this one was just till even. All right. If you go in that house, that's unclean. All right. So you had that thing, and at least when the sun go down, now you're good, fresh. All right. Because that starts our new day, even though it's at night, right? It starts our new day, technically starting our new day and even ending out a day. Okay. That's why I say that even, depending on the context, you can see he said ending or beginning a day. All right. And this one is saying until even, where is that time period? Okay. All right. Let me keep going, brother guy.
Verse 48. And if the priest shall come in and look upon it, and behold, the plague have not spread in the house, after the house was plastered, then the priest shall pronounce the house clean, because the plague is healed. And he shall take to cleanse the house 2 birds, and cedar wood, and scarlet, and hyssop. And he shall kill the one of the birds in an earthen vessel over running water.
All right. So now even what? Now the the house had a cleaning ritual, right? You got to clean the house. All right. So this thing is to take away that plague. All right. Showing the cleansing from that plague. And this is why also, beloved, we don't want to acknowledge it. Yes, the priest had a big job. But you'll see if you had a corrupt priest, what do you think a corrupt priest would be doing this time? Right? People houses probably got to be destroyed. No, 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 destroy my house. Let me give you that. You have a wicked one, they might take that and put everybody in danger. Okay. So with all these things, beloved, this is why it's so important that we looking at and analyzing these commandments, right? Because there's a repercussion for everything we do. There's a consequence. You do it right, good consequence. You do it wrong, the wrong consequence. All right. You reap what you sow. Okay. But yeah, let's keep going. Keep going. We almost ended it, beloved. It's a long chapter. We almost done it.
Verse 51. And he shall take the cedar wood, and the hyssop, and the scarlet, and the living bird, and dip them in the blood of the slain bird and in the running water, and sprinkle the house 7 times. And he shall cleanse the house with the blood of the bird, and with the running water, and with the living bird, and with the cedar wood, and with the hyssop, and with the scarlet. But he shall let go the living bird out of the city into the open fields, and to make an atonement for the house, and it shall be clean.
So look a little familiar with the atonement. Remember one, the scapegoat and all that stuff, right? One was getting put the sins on all that stuff. You kill the other one, you let go free, right in the wilderness. Seem like you're seeing that same kind of correlation with this. Let the living bird out in the field, all right, to make to what? The atonement. And it shall be clean. Once again, I love the language. This ain't no doubt about it. When you do what thus saith the Lord, shall be. Right? So I say we do the commandments. It ain't no, well, I did it. I don't know. You are. And we got to start putting that in our spirit. Right? I know that's just a claim, you got to claim it. But no, when you're doing thus saith the Lord, this is the result. You can say it, I'm clean. Right? He don't put all this maybe. No, you do this, this is the results. All right. No fine print, no sneaky stuff. No, you do this, this is what it is. You get leprosy, you come, you bring this stuff to the priest, they do this, you're clean. All right. It's the obedience of the scriptures is what cleanses you, beloved. That's the spiritual aspect behind it. It's the obedience that cleanses you. It's the faith that cleanses you. Okay? And this is why you say the laws of faith, because what? If you didn't believe it, you wouldn't do it. So it's the faith. Faith ain't something new. If you didn't believe this, you wouldn't do it. Oh, I ain't worried about that. I ain't worried about being clean every day. But no, the people that did this have faith. What? That God, that they were unclean. First of all, that they believe God that they were unclean, but also believe God that what? They shall be clean. Okay. All right. You can finish it up, Brother Kai.
And he shall cleanse the house with the blood of the bird, and with the running water, and with the living bird, and with the cedar wood, and with the hyssop, and with the scarlet. But he shall let go the living bird out of the city into the open fields, and make it an atonement for the house, and it shall be clean. This is the law of all manner of plague of leprosy and scald, and for the leprosy of a garment, and of a house, and for a raising, and for a scab, and for a bright spot, to teach what is unclean and what is clean. This is the law of leprosy.
You have it. All right. So all the manner of plague of leprosy and skull, right? All these kind of things, what you should do with it. To teach, that verse 57, to teach when it is unclean and when it is clean. Right? So we have the knowledge, all right, saying doing all this, so you have the knowledge of a clean leprosy and an unclean leprosy. Okay. All right, we're not going to go into the next chapter. All right, we will save that for next week. Well, this was kind of long. All right, but I believe it's still dealing with leprosy to an extent, and then it'll start to uh, venture off a little bit from that. Okay, so we got yeah. Okay. So we'll, like I said, we'll go through it. Not going to probably precept it a lot, but we'll get to that next week. All right. Anybody have anything for this chapter? No, it was kind of straightforward with a lot of stuff, but anybody have anything you want to add or questions of anything we read? All right. If not, all right, we're going to close out those online that's watching through YouTube. I'll